And this is Ken Kraetzer for the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade. I have a chance to talk with one of the key people on the parade staff, and that is Joe Haneman. And Joe is in charge of recruiting and working with the out-of-town bands that come from all across the country, and it's a big job. Joe, how did you get started with the parade and helping us find bands that want to come into New York in March?
Well, I started with the parade many years ago. We won't go into how many, but I started with the parade, and Frank Byrne was the previous chairman, was the one that got me interested in being a member of the parade committee. I, at one time, before I retired, which was 8 years ago, coordinated 31 parades in the city of New York annually. Now I do 8. But as far as the out-of-town bands, the hardest part of it is to get the kids interested enough in the parade to raise money. Sure. Because it costs an average of about $500 to $600 for every child that comes into this parade. And give you an example. We have a band coming this year from North Cicero, North Syracuse, New York. I saw them in the Orange Dome. Now, if you expect their school district to come up with the money, no, they won't do it because it's not within their budget. I saw them in November. I said to the man in the Carrier Dome, "Are you with the band?" He had a jacket on, needless to say, that said he was. And he said, "Yes." I said, "I want the band in St. Patrick's Day Parade. Here's my card." I gave him a phone call, and the band leader said to me, "How much money can you put toward our travel?" I said, "Absolutely none." And I said, "We have 168 bands in the parade, and you are 168th of the bands invited. However, they are the New York State champions currently, so they will be leading a group up of the avenue that is a very special, and we hope they make NBC TV, but if there's a commercial, they won't."
Well, Joe Haneman, tell us about some of the bands. I know we've got bands from Alabama and from the Midwest coming this year. Tell us about some of the bands. I know they all have interesting backgrounds. Many have significant accomplishments.
Well, we have the largest band in the parade annually is Londonderry. Londonderry marches any place between 286 and 300, and they've had as many as 316 kids in line. And they are a magnificent band. Then you have, on top of that, we have right now the Alabama and Southern United States tier champion, which is the Hewitt-Truesville Marching Band from Truesville, Alabama. Then we have a band coming in from West Virginia that's from a very poor section of West Virginia. And there's a case where these kids had to do car washes. They sold everything except themselves, I think, to get here to New York, and they'll be here. The big problem we have with the southern bands, especially, I'm a transplant now to Florida. The people in Florida think that this is winter, 60 degrees, oh my God. But the kids from Florida come up here to this parade. It's not the kids like the kids from Londonderry, New Hampshire, thinking they're coming south. These kids are coming north, and a lot of them, we had snow 2 years ago, and it was the first time in their lives that the Florida band saw snow, which is a very unusual thing because we take that for granted.
Well, we saw the kids from Alabama last year. They seemed to enjoy the sunshine we had on St. Patrick's Day. Joe Haneman, tell us a little bit, how did you get involved? I understand you were with the West Point Band at one time.
Yes, I started off as a 17-year-old boy. I came in 1956 with a friend of mine. I have a last name of Haneman, Hahnemann, which is obviously German. But my actual ancestry is Irish.
Sounds like me.
And what happened was I went to the parade with my friends, all Irishmen, and I saw the Boston University Band. or Boston College Band, I should say it was, and they had chrome helmets on. I thought to myself, boy, that's interesting. I thought it was an Army band coming down the street, and it wasn't. I joined the National Guard and played the next year with the 69th Regiment. And while I was in West Point for 4 of the 6 years I was up there, I brought 4 tuba players down, myself and 3 tuba other guys, and we all marched with the 69th Regiment Band and made the 69th Regiment Band look like a much bigger band than it really was, with all of our tubas in the back row. But then from there I went on to start teaching. I taught St. Clair's in Rosedale. I used to march for Wexford. And I taught St. Agnes and Rockville Center, which was the Patriots Marching Band, which played for, I think, Longford, I'm not sure. I know they won first place in the Hempstead Parade for many years. And then I went on from there to other places, and always bought the bands always wound up in the St. Patrick's Day Parade somehow. And then I met Frank Byrne in 1986. And he had me working with the Line of March Committee for a while because of my experience in parades. And then I moved over to music when the opening came up. And from 1990 up to present, I've been the music chairman of the parade.
Well, that's terrific, and what a history and what a contribution. It must be exciting for the high school students to come into New York. Many haven't been to New York before, and get a couple of days here in the city, march to the parade. But I know they also get a chance to do a lot of sightseeing.
Oh, yeah. And in fact, one of the things I found was very disturbing was that the way some of the tour agencies, that these kids, you get a group from Arkansas or Texas or someplace that isn't familiar with New York. So I developed a thing, and I have a fellow that handles it for me, for the bands that are interested. We take them on a boat ride after the parade. They go, they have sightseeing trips. In fact, one of the bands is in town right now. It's North Carolina from Maryland, and that band is going on the trip of the parade route tomorrow. They're going to ride down, instead of going up Fifth Avenue as the parade does, they're going to ride down Fifth Avenue, see where St. Patrick's Cathedral is, see all the different parts of the city as part of their initiation, so to speak, into the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Absolutely. Boy, what an experience it must be for the youngsters on the out-of-town high schools to come in. For everyone, is there a special moment in parade history that stands out for you? Any of the out-of-town bands coming into New York, or any other special moment that you remember really stands out for you, Joe Haneman?
Well, let's put it this way. Andy Susi, who is the band director of the Londonderry, New Hampshire band. Here's a band that marches between 280 and 316 pieces. And they're magnificent. I mean, the only way I can put it is they are magnificent. We have years that Andy will say, hey, Joe, do me a favor. Don't give us the trophy again this year. He says, let the kids work a little harder for next year. And they're wonderful kids. It's a wonderful activity. And you know what? We have the largest teams in the schools. Remember, a football team, a baseball team, and a soccer team all collectively is at 316 pieces.
I'm always amazed at how marching bands can coordinate. We see so many great high school and college bands performing. And, Joe, I bet you're looking forward to St. Patrick's Day. And I know you have one more final thought for us.
My dream, if there is such a thing as a dream after all of these years, my dream is to see the Fighting Irish march down in this parade. And I'll tell you, I mean the Notre Dame band from Notre Dame, Indiana. Wouldn't it be great to see Notre Dame in this parade? Unfortunately, Notre Dame takes their spring break during the time of our parade, and I don't think anybody would count heads. I think if they came with 200 pieces, we'd just be just as happy.
Well, I know Notre Dame's playing basketball on Friday in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center for the NCAA tournament, so you never know. They might have some of their musicians with them. Joe Haneman, great to see you, and thank you for all that you've done and continue to do for the New York City St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Hope I can do it for another 75 years.
So do we. Good to see you. This is Ken Kraetzer for the New York St. Patrick's Day Parade.